it's the art of bombing.
But we put all our energy into like raising our kid, and I think we do a good job with that. It's just with each other, we just ran out of energy and creativity, and then it just got passive aggressive. Like, I'm not looking good for you, okay? Start saying mean things. I'm not shaving for you. Well, I'm not waiting until you leave the bathroom before I pee in this shower. And he said mean things too. I have good news though. We're past that part, and he's starting to work out again. So I think he's cheating on me.
First of all, let me tell you that if you have a habit of being hard on yourself and wanting things to go perfectly, comedy is going to be a tough road to hoe because there's nothing perfect about any set. There's always something that is annoying about it. So like every set, sometimes when I get into like a perfectionist mode, every set feels like bombing in some way. If something goes wrong, like someone makes a stink face in the crowd. So let me just separate that right now so that I can remember that like there are certain times like they just sit with me where I'm just like, why did I say it that way? Why did I do that? And in this instance, the story will actually tell you is a time where it's the classic sense of bombing in that people did not enjoy what I was doing. Like I came to do what I did. The conditions weren't great, but it was really just one of those things where it's just like, we don't like it and we're going to show you we don't like it. That's different than just me being like, oh, my timing sucked, or oh, my jokes aren't as strong as they could be, whatever. That's not the same kind of bombing. Plus, at this stage in the game, bombing is not, your jokes are road tested and you do it regularly enough. So even if you're not getting the laughs you want, you're still not like having flop sweat and freaking out on stage and bombing the way you did
Yeah,
year one of comedy, So anyway, I was performing at a college and it was broad daylight and outdoors. But there was a sound system, which is always good. It was under a tent where the seniors were about to graduate. They were allowed to have alcohol. So I was thinking, this is cool. They'll be a little buzzed. They're celebrating. So I'm in a good mood. It's almost like a comedy show, except it's broad daylight and whatever. And I looked around. You always have to survey the space when you arrive. You're parking in a college and you've got like some time to kill. And there was no stage. It was just a tent. And I just thought like, it just looked like, a wedding reception. There weren't chairs or anything. It was just like, there were kids at tables and chairs. And then as night fell, it got super dark and there was no lights. So I just thought like, gosh, it was almost better when it was like bright outside to have performed. There was a DJ in a DJ booth, but they announced right before I went on. They were like, "Hey, everybody! Before the comedian comes, just want to let you know we're gonna close down that bar." And the whole room, the whole tent goes, "Oh!" So
oh no!
Now they're like, "But as soon as the comedian's done, we're gonna open that bar right up." So everybody's just like, "Okay, get her on, come on." And I just thought, "Oh, that sucks." If I could have had it my way, I would have said, like, "Guys, get drinks as much as you want." So I felt like, okay, now it's gonna be like they're antsy and they're gonna hope that I'm good. I had their attention for the first few minutes. I was trying, and I know, let me tell you this, college students who are listening, it's a really fun show to you guys if I make it about you, or if the comedian kind of like teases a person up front. Like kids are, I mean, at this age, you're so self-focused sometimes, and when it comes to entertainment, and you've never been in a club, so you don't know how to act, that it's just not interesting for you to hear about a comedian's life unless the things are like hitting exactly of something you've experienced before. And I've done enough colleges to just realize that. So you kind of have to like interact with the crowd a little bit to get them engaged again. Otherwise, they're just like going to look at their phone or start wandering around or, heaven forbid, talk during your set. So
or all of the above.
Yeah. So I'm trying to like identify the pockets of the room. I like, look at these kids back here. You guys look like, whoever. And then these kids up front look like library kids. And this, and that was going well. Everybody's like, yeah, she got us, But then I was like, okay, time for me to tell my jokes. And I told my jokes. And I don't know what happened. Maybe 5 minutes in, I just started losing them. And it was getting noisy. And I was just like, I was standing. Also, I was in front of the DJ booth. So, like I said, I'm on like eye level with the students, except for those who choose to sit. Some are standing in the back watching, but they're given 40% of attention span. Like they're not all like, oh, someone came to entertain us. They're just like, talking about life. And so I don't have everybody at once ever. It's just kind of like ocean of noise. Plus, like I can see the people in the front who are looking at me. And I never lost this group of 4 girls with glasses and like parted hair down the middle and straight. They were just so polite and stared at me and just like this. So that was my safety zone. If I really felt like uncomfortable, I could just look at them and they'd be right there plastered smiles on their faces. But I remember one thing that started to go wrong was one girl was drunk and she wanted to talk about the guy next to her. And I tried to engage them like, what are you guys talking about? Can we all be a part of it? And, it was just like, no, tell your jokes, and I thought, fine, okay, fine. There's a guy in the back who had a little fedora, I think, that looked a lot like Jason Mraz. So I called him Jason Mraz. And at first that got like great laughs. And then I refer back to him again and at some point to try to like win the crowd back. And I just remember him going, yeah, Jason Mraz. Like he was way in the back, but I could still see his face go, I heard that already, like, and I just thought, man, this sucks. And then, and I just couldn't tell you how far I'm into it. But I do know that the woman who is my contact for having arrived is timing me. And she's like, you have to do at least 45 minutes. And so I'm just like, gosh, I'm burning through my material here. The laughs aren't coming. I feel awful. And then this guy stands up and he goes, maybe I should tell jokes. And I was like, no. There's like this rule of thumb. Comedians don't let non-comedians on stage. But he just started like moving closer to the stage. And then people started chanting his name. They're like, Chad. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so he gets on stage and I'm just, trying to engage him. And he does this like joke. I was like, so what are you up to tonight? What are you going to do after the show? And he's like, maybe get you back in my room. And the whole room's like, oh,
geez.
I was like, I said something super nerdy, but it was like a factoid I had just heard about sex trafficking. And I was like, do you know how many people are sex trafficked per hour? And he goes, no. Some weird stupid stat. And I was like, it's 13. And then he's like, oh. And it killed. There was no mood to kill, but it made things worse. And so I told him to go sit back down, but they like gave him a round of applause for his efforts. And I was just like, gosh, he's doing better than me. This is awful. And how much time do I have left? And I just felt like dry. It felt like pain, Dan. It felt like death.
Oh.
So yeah, I blacked out the rest of it. Somehow I finished my time. I think I went under by like a minute and got super nervous about that of like, gosh, were they really watching? Because I looked at my like phone, that I'm recording the audio and the time does not say you've done the minimum 45 minutes. Like it didn't say that, whatever it said. I was like, oh no, I hope she didn't notice. But that's the funny thing about like when somebody makes you do your time, but they also see that you're bombing. Like I came up to her and I was like, thanks for having me. And I was waiting for her to be like, you didn't do your time. And instead she was just like, she just looked at me like, yeah. Then I leave and then they can hear the DJ like, okay, guys, let's get the music going again. Bars open, everybody have drinks. And they all went back to their lives and they forgot that ever happened. But I felt like old cold pea soup, just like not good.
Only in a world like that will comedy be forgotten. I wish some of the gigs that I did ended with the DJ getting on there and being like, all right, let's dance, bars back open. And then everybody just forgets what just happened.
But it's so humbling. Like, let's just forget that even happened, guys. Let's keep going, like, or just, he could have just said, anyway, and it's like, oh.
It's the art of bombing.